This conference will now be recorded.
Don't worry if anyone not got the recording, don't worry about it. Okay, by tomorrow everything will be settled. Who all paid the fees only will be continued from tomorrow's session. So those guys are finalized. That means those are the continue for the next part of the sessions. So they will create one page and they will be, almost I have given the recordings to many of the people. Some people missed. Tomorrow you will be getting everyone who all missed, everyone will get the recordings and the documents as well. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, what we discussed in the last session? Need to respond, guys. I said interactive session. What we discussed in the last session?
Muel application.
Just tell me
Services.
about the brief. Just give me brief about. We'll spend on 5 minutes on that. Just tell me. Yes, please go ahead. Yeah, it should be an interactive session, guys. Someone should speak.
Yeah, Sujit.
Yeah,
So we are.
web services.
Yeah, continue anyone. Fine.
Web services. Someone was talking about a web services. Yes, we discussed about a web service, and I asked you to go through about a web service also. I don't know how many of you gone through. Okay, about web services. Next.
We talked about ESBs.
Okay, point taken.
And loose coupling and logical coupling.
Yes, in order to explain about the ESB, I have taken you to, through loose coupling. What is the loose coupling? What is the logical coupling? How the complexity of integration increases. Once it got increases, how a developer will check, is there any ready-made library? What, right? And finally, I shown the use case as well. Correct? Finally, you understood about what is an ESB, Enterprise Service Bus. Right? Today, we are going to discuss about what is an orchestration, what is a mule, and what is an any point platform architecture for mule. Okay. Again, I'm asking, please interact. Otherwise, it will be a dumb session. If you're not interacting, it will be a dumb session. I don't want that. I want everyone to interact with me. Okay. Please respond. Interaction means not when chit chatting. Just whatever I ask the question, please respond immediately. Right. So, what is an orchestration? Anyone from integration background here? I have not taken any backgrounds of, what is the domain you worked already. I will take from tomorrow session because people get filtered there. So I will take tomorrow session. So I don't know who are from integration background. If anyone from integration background, they might have aware of what is an orchestration concept. Is anyone here from integration background? No one? Okay. Then what is an orchestration? Before going to this orchestration, I will take you to some general concept. I think everyone in this session, everyone in this batch saw one orchestra, musical orchestra in their lifetime. Musical orchestra, yes or no? Right? Can you please name 3 musical instruments? 3 musical instruments.
Piano,
Okay, very good.
guitar,
Okay, guitar. Okay. One more.
Rhythm pads.
Okay, I didn't
drums.
get that point. Drums. Okay, I didn't get that point. Someone said. So 3 instruments. Can you please tell me if they play the music on their own? Okay, are we going to get some structured music or random music?
Random music.
We are going to get a random music.
Random.
But I want to get some structured music. So what is an idea? How to get us some structured music?
They need to collaborate.
It has to be in sync, right?
They should be in a sync.
There's a flow.
They need to coordinate. How they will coordinate? See, if you observe, there is one instructor who is waving his hands. That means he is giving some instructions. Accordingly, they are playing that instrument. Then we are getting some structured music. Have you saw that anytime in the orchestra? Yes, right?
Yes.
Assume that this rectangular box is an instructor. Okay, these are the instruments. Now this instrument should follow the instructions coming from this instructor, right? The same concept apply here. This rectangular box, assume that it's a one application. Okay, this application is receiving some request, right? The request will be read by one component. So don't try to understand about a component level, that it could be an any component. This component will read the incoming request. Assume that it's an HTTP request. It will read this incoming request and it will, that means this component knows how to invoke a service one. Okay, it is invoking a service one and it will execute according to incoming request and it will give some response back. Assume that the response is in X format. Ultimately, at the end of the flow, end of the application, I required Z as a response type. Okay, that is the ultimate response. Some structured music in the sense, some desired output. Okay, so first my component will invoke service one and service one is giving some response called X. That response X is kept in some internal memory queue. So in enterprise terminology, what is that internal memory queue can be called as?
Variable.
Huh?
Channel.
Variable.
Very good.
Channel.
Channel. Very good. Someone remember that. X. And we configure one more component which will receive this X as an input and invoke service 2. Service 2 also will execute some logic and it will respond back. Response is Y. This time the response coming from service 2 is Y. That, see, at this component level, I received a response called Y. Previously, I have the original response called X. Right? Now this Y, whatever I'm getting from service 2, can I take it into variable? Yes, we can take it into variable. Now that response I kept in a internal memory queue. That means a channel. I will configure one more component here, which will read this incoming request and invoke service 3, and service 3 is giving some response in Z as a format. So finally, at the end of the application, I'm getting some response in a desired format. That response will be given back to the client. What I am doing here, this entire process consists of what? Yes, what I am doing here. Am I not means I in the sense this application. Am I not coordinating with the multiple services to get the desired output? Am I not coordinating? Yes or no?
Yes.
Can you please frame your sentence based on this picture? What I'm doing here? Yes, yes,
Yeah,
please.
coordinating with each service in synchronous manner.
Exactly. Point taken. I think Shrikant. Thank you. Anyone else? There is no definitions. I mean, standard definitions. What you understand the concept, you need to put it in your own way. There is no standard definition for anything. You need to understand the concept. Yeah, give some answers.
Connecting multiple services to get an output.
Perfect. Anyone else?
It's called the web service.
Web service?
We are using multiple service, right? So different service and integrating to one.
Of course, these services may be on any web service. That's fine. That's correct. But what is the concept I'm doing here? The third-party application service 1, service 2, service 3 may expose on a different web services by REST or a SOAP. But what I am doing in this rectangular box, in this application?
You are interacting. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sender to receiver communication.
Okay, point taken. Okay. Am I
Yes, Sujit.
not writing some orchestrated logic in this rectangular box? Yes.
Yes.
Which is coordinating with the
Yes, sir.
multiple services, right? So assume that this is a muel application. Mule application. In Mule application, we write flows. This rectangular box, we call it as a flow, right? What does flow contain? What logic? Orchestration logic. Now, can you please tell me the definition? What is an orchestration? Process of coordinating with multiple services to get the desired output is nothing but an orchestration. Where we write that orchestration logic? In a flow. Got it? But where we write that flow? Where we can create these flows? Assume that this is a flow. Where we can create this flow?
Anypoint Studio.
In Mule application.
Of course, in Anypoint Studio only we can create a mule. Basically,
Yeah,
we
that's the
can
client.
create this in a mule application. Once we create a mule application, of course, in Anypoint Studio only, mule project, right? In this mule application, straight away you cannot write the flows. We require something in between. That means XML file. See, in mule, everything is an XML. Okay, this is called a configuration XML. Everything is an XML. My mule application is totally designed by using a Java. Okay, in Java internally they used Spring framework. Spring framework means an XML, right? So behind the scenes it's an XML. But many people coming from different domains not able to identify or understand the logic present in it. That's why they have given this flow representation. That is why mule is so popular again. Graphical representation, right? Whenever you drag and drop any connector onto the flow, automatically behind the scenes our XML will get generated. On behalf of you, mule itself will write an XML, right? I will talk about that later. So where we can write a flow? In an XML. XML can be created in a mule application. Okay, flow contains what logic?
Orchestration logic.
Orchestration logic, right? Now in a mule application, how many XMLs I can create?
Any
We can
number?
create n number of XMLs. In an XML, how many flows we can create?
I
N
don't
number.
think there's any limit.
No limit. N number.
Yep.
Right? Can you please frame your statement on what is a mule? If anyone asks you what is a mule, what you will tell? What is the hierarchy of a mule?
Mule is a set of like
Perfect.
no
Yeah. Continue.
orchestration.
Mule is a set of XMLs.
XMLs.
Perfect. And each XML contains what?
Multiple flows.
Flow definitions. We'll call this as a flow definitions. Okay. Okay. Each flow contains
Orchestration logic.
Orchestration.
Now quickly tell me the sentence. Mule is a set of XMLs which contains a flow definitions, and each flow contains a orchestration logic. So everyone understood the hierarchy of a mule application now?
Yes.
Yeah, Suji.
Very good. Next. Assume that we have created a flows and we created a mule application, right? Where we can run that flows. Assume that we created flows and application. Where we can run this mule application? Normally, if you create any application, where you will run?
On the server.
Okay. Can you please name some application servers?
Apache.
Apache is a static. For dynamic requests?
Yeah, Tomcat, IS.
Exactly. Tomcat.
WebSphere, IBM WebSphere, WebLogic.
See, these are the application servers. Yeah, where we can deploy the application. Correct?
Yeah,
At the
we
same
can also
time,
the cloud.
can I deploy this Mule application on any other server? No. Mule is having a separate runtime called MuleSoft has given a separate runtime to deploy the Mule applications. Because Tomcat container is different, Mule container is totally different, right? So we cannot deploy the mule applications on a Tomcat container, right? So mule has given a separate runtime for that. That is nothing but a mule. That name is mule runtime. Right now, what is the version is going on? The latest version.
Mule 4.
We are learning which version of mule. Mule 4. That is the meaning. Okay, the runtime version. In that, the latest version is 3. Mule 4.3. Okay, the latest version which we are going to discuss about that too. Right? Okay. See, if there is, see, we are creating, we in the sense web developer is creating a web application, right? That web application, if you want to write some integration logic, they will outsource that integration logic to some third-party vendor like a mule, right? Assume that this rectangle box is a mule application, this is a web application. If the two parties want to speak with each other, or if this web application want to integrate with the mule application, integration means what? Consuming the services present in this mule application, how they will integrate and how they will consume. Yes. When we develop any web application, we will give some integration logic to some third-party vendor like Mule, correct? Now, web application should communicate with my Mule application. How? See, if two parties want to speak with each other, yesterday I talked about a web services. If application A, assume that this is a web application. B is a Mule application. If a web application want to integrate with a Mule application, how they will communicate?
Through
Yes,
XML.
you translate.
Scraping.
Web service. That means my Mule application should expose the services by using any of the web service. That means we need to create an API. In our program, we are going to expose our Mule application as a REST API. Okay. To describe about any application in SOAP, is there any standard format?
It is XML.
No, that is an output input, and the standard format is an XML. But to describe about, yeah, what is that?
WSDL.
WSDL.
WSDL file, right? To describe about a REST application, is there any?
JSON.
JSON or Java?
JSON. No, again, yesterday I told. JSON, Java, all these are output formats or input formats. To describe about this application, to describe about this API, is there any language?
RAML?
Yes. What is that? RAML.
RAML.
What do you mean? Or Swagger, right? Most popular is RAML, right? In our program, we are going to discuss about trying from line 1, where we are going to start. That means if you're not aware of RAML also, after my sessions, you are in a position to understand existing RAMLs, or you can create your own RAMLs as well, right? So we are going to see about how to expose our Mule application by using a RAML. So can I call this RAML as a contract, or can I call this as a specification? What do you mean by specification? Some set of guidelines according to the client requirement. We are designing that RAML, right? So can I call this as a design? Many names we can give for that, right? Finally, if you are creating, see, by using a RAML language, we are creating an API. Okay. Now, where we can design this RAML file? Yes. How to design this RAML and where to design this RAML? Any idea? Mule has given a tool called, Mule has given one more tool called Design Center. Guys, who all are joining today? Yesterday and today. And if anyone not shared the mail IDs, please share them. Share the mail IDs. Please share the mail IDs. Okay. I think yesterday, Jafar, I think you are not shared the mail ID. Is it? Someone has not shared the mail ID. Please share. Okay. Okay. Now, how to design the RAML? In Mule, they have given one more application called Design Center, where we can design the APIs. Where we can design the APIs by using which language?
RAML.
Okay. Now, according to the client requirement, you have designed the API. Okay. Now, that same API at an organization level, someone want to use internally your API to write their own implementations. How they can search, how they can access your API from the design center is only for a designing, right? So we need to publish as API owner, we need to publish the designed API to one more application called
Anypoint exchange.
Very good. Exchange. We need to publish. I'm using a word called publish. We need to publish the APIs onto the exchange. Okay. Is it for internal, for external? Who are having the same account? They
It is
can
for internal.
slowly access this APIs. That is for internal purpose, right? But while you are designing stage itself, if you want to take a feedback from the client while the designing, whether are you designing correctly or not, we want to take a feedback in between. How can you share your API to the client?
So you can
Client is
create a
an
tab.
client is an external one. If it is an internal, he can come to the exchange and he can refer, but he's an external. So how we can share this API to the external client? One second, let me stop the WhatsApp on my laptop. Yes, please tell me.
No, while publishing it, you can choose it for private, public, so that it will visible to client as well.
No, that is only client. That means we need to share that, right? First thing, it is private, but how we can access? You are making an instance as a private.
So you can deploy it in the dev environment. You can create different environments in the design center.
No. When you will deploy after developing implementations, then only you can deploy. But I'm asking when I'm designing the API itself.
You can publish
You can
to cloud.
export it.
You can publish to cloud.
Okay, I will tell. There is one more thing called Anypoint Exchange is also on a cloud. Design Center is also on a cloud. Everything is on cloud. But there is one more application called Public Portal. From the Anypoint Exchange, you can share that API onto the public portal. This public portal link will be given to the client. What and all are the APIs present on this public portal, you can access under that link. Okay. Now, okay, assume that everything is done. That means design is done. Okay. Then once the design is done, if you want to develop any web application, then you need to write the implementations for your API. So how to write the implementations? How to write the definitions of your muel application? Yes. Yeah, where we write our muel applications.
Anypoint Studio.
Exactly. There is one more application called Anypoint Studio. So this is an application. Right now, I'm just showing on the screen. This is an Anypoint Studio. Okay, it's an Anypoint Studio where we can write the mule application, where we can create a mule application. Okay. And on cloud also, we have one more option, the beta version of Anypoint Studio, which is available on the cloud. Okay, which is not recommendable. This is an user friendly. It's a system based application. Okay, you can use this, but it is not installing on OS. Again, I'm telling, Anypoint Studio is not installing on your OS. It is an application. It is switching based on the workspace. Okay. Next, what is the version of Anypoint Studio right now? It's going on
7.1.
7. Okay, you can use from 7.5 to 7.7 any version. Okay, I am giving in my folder, I'm giving 7.5. If you directly download from the website, you will be getting a 7.7. You can use any of the version of any point studio, not below this, not below 7.5. Okay. And Mule runtime version 4. See, any point studio 7 is compatible with Mule runtime 4 only. Okay. Mule 3 is not compatible with any point studios 7. For that, we require to use any point studios 6. Okay. Right now, just no need to discuss about that because we are using a Mule runtime 4 and any point studio 7 versions only. Right. And while you are deploying the application, this Mule runtime can be hosted multiple ways. That means we can deploy deployment strategies. There are multiple deployment strategies. One is on-prem, one is hybrid, one is Cloud Hub, one is runtime fabric, right? So on-prem, that means your Mule runtime is hosting on your local servers. Hybrid, your runtime is on local server, but they can manage by using a cloud. That's why it is a combination of on-prem and a cloud. That is why hybrid. Cloud Hub, everything will be on a cloud itself. I mean, Mule runtime is hosted on a Mule's cloud platform, right? And runtime fabric. If you want to host your Mule runtime or on your own private cloud, then you need to use a runtime fabric. Okay. Next. Now, I don't want my Mule application to expose directly to client, and I want to check whether my client is a valid client or not. See, if who are having the Mule application, once I deploy the application, the URL where it is deployed and what is the port it is listening, what is the path. If you know all this, you can straight away send the request to the application and you can consume the operations present in it, right? But how can you authorize? How can you validate the incoming request is coming from a valid client or not?
You can add policies
Where? Great. The point is
in
correct. We can
in
apply
the
some policies. Where we can apply some policies. And the original implementation.
yeah, I
If I
think
write
it's
an
somewhere.
original implementation, first it will hit original application. Then only the policies, whether the policy is applied or not, will check. I don't want that. I don't want my client to hit directly to my API first thing. What I can do? I want something in between.
Proxy application.
Very good. So in Mule, there is something called one more very important application. We can call this as a heart of the application. After the entire part, API manager. API manager. We can manage the APIs from here. That means what? The original implementation URL will be given to the API manager, and I'll ask him to create a proxy. Proxy means what? Proxy. Many times you might have seen this word in the advertisement. Proxy.
Dummy or duplicate.
Dummy or a duplicate, right? So it's a duplicate API which can be downloadable. Okay, there is no implementations. Only the metadata of the application is there present in the proxy, right? So which is downloadable. Why we are downloading? We need to deploy this proxy also somewhere, so that proxy also will be having some URL. That URL will be given to the client. Okay, whenever client to client send a request, the proxy is ready. That means it should be ready to receive the request. So we need to deploy this application. That means proxy application on some runtime. Then client sends a request to the proxy. Then why we are creating the proxy? What is the requirement? To validate the client. So to validate the client, we need to write some policies. Where we can write a policy? At a API manager level itself, we can write a policy. So at API manager level, we can write some policies. Behind the scenes, everything is an XML, as I said. Once I apply a policy, this XML, the policy should be read by someone. So there is a background thread which keep on, that means at a regular intervals frequently, it will roam onto that, and it will, whenever a new policy is applied, that means created, it will parse that policy and it will be applied to the proxy. What is that thread called? That thread called security interceptor. Okay, that background check will read, that means that will parse that XML and it will apply to the proxy. Whenever client sends a request, it will validate against the policy. If it is valid, then it will hit the original implementation, will give a response. Otherwise, from the proxy itself, it is throwing some exception to the client. All these things will be done at a API manager level. Okay, all these applications are part of something called, what is this? Any point
Platform.
platform.
Any point platform. Okay, you need to purchase an account with the MuleSoft. That account name is Any Point Platform. It's a cloud platform. We'll call that as a cloud hub, right? MuleSoft has having one cloud hub platform. That is nothing but an iPaaS. What do you mean by iPaaS? What is an iPaaS?
Platform as a service.
What is I then?
Integration platform.
Exactly. Integration platform as a service. That name is Cloud Hub, right? How they created this platform? By using what infrastructure? What do you mean by IaaS?
Infrastructure as a service.
Infrastructure as a service. So internally it is using AWS infrastructure to create the platform. What is the difference between a platform and a infrastructure? I can see many people are aware of that.
Yes, anyone can continue.
Difference between the infrastructure and the platform.
Well, infrastructure means so we can handle that entire machine from the OS level. So platform as service, so only we can utilize the softwares.
Okay. Okay. Any other? Okay, I can see many new faces also here. So I will tell in a general concept the difference between infrastructure and a platform. See, many of you known about a Domino's, right? And many of you known about some service apartments for guest house, like a guest house, right? See, in the service apartment, what they will give? They will be giving an entire infrastructure like your home. That means ACs, fridge, stove, mixie, and beds and everything. They are providing some infrastructure, right? If you want to cook your own food, you have to cook, right? But when you go to the Domino's or like that, what you will do? Will you cook or just give an order? You are ready to eat. You are just ordering it, and once you get the product, you will eat it, right? You are consuming that, right? So by using the difference between the infrastructure and the platform is this Domino's is acting as a platform. That means already everything by using that infrastructure, they are created on platform and directly giving the product to you, right? That directly you are using that. That means as a user, I can use this platform, Cloud Hub platform, which is already available. Okay, that means all the platform, that means the runtime structure, everything is created ready-made. Just you need to create the application and you need to customize and you need to deploy on the cloud platform. That is called a platform. Infrastructure, by using how they created this platform, by using what is the infrastructure created by AWS platform, AWS infrastructure, they created this platform. In this service apartment, they have given the infrastructure, we need to generate it. In the platform, just we need to order it. The same concept here. Hope the layman can understand this example. Difference between the infrastructure and the platform. If you're already having some knowledge, that already you know about it. So this is the entire, all the applications I just given a one-liner what these will do. Okay, what these applications will do under any point platform account, right? Under any point platform, right? For the training purpose, they have given a 30 days trial version, right? But in real time, your organization should purchase an account. There are multiple selling strategies, subscription packages to purchase an account with the MuleSoft, right? So for the training purpose, they are limiting the VMs to only one VM. That is the only limitation we have, right? So for understanding the concept and make a trial, this Anypoint platform trial version is more than enough. Okay. After 30 days, again you need to create an account. So I will be taking care of how to register an account with Anypoint platform and how to use these applications. So entire SDLC of application we are going to see in the last. First, my program is totally talking about first 16 to 17 sessions. I'm going to talk about the concepts, types of integrations, transformation, exceptions. So basically the implementation part I will take care of 16 to 17 sessions. After 17 sessions, I will be talking about the APIs. Starting from the entire, we are going to create one banking application. We'll gather the requirement. Then we are going to design the API. All this entire life cycle. Can you please now here according to the application, according to the life cycle? First, after gathering the requirement, we need to design. Then once you design, you can publish onto the exchange or else you can publish onto the portal. Then for the design, once it got signed off, then we can go for development. Then there is something in between. There is for testing, there is something called MUnit framework we are going to use. If you want to write some test cases by using an MUnit framework, we can write the test cases, right? Then once the testing is done, then it will go for a deployment. If you want to write some policies, you can use an API manager. So entire this SDLC life cycle, designing the API, managing the API, developing, everything will be done in a banking application at the end. Okay, so don't get confused. Okay, first in our program, if you go with any other program in YouTube or any other, first they will talk about the API straight away. Okay, people, I will be getting people from different domains, they are not aware of API. Straight away if I talk about API, they will run away. So my design is like, first I will talk about how to develop your application, the implementation part, right? Once you understand about, once you are familiar with the Anypoint Studio, how we are writing based on the incoming request, how we are going to, we need to treat this request as an requirement, the incoming request as a requirement. According to this requirement, I need to create an implementation. Once you are familiar with that, then I am going to start with the banking application. In this banking application, we are going to see first the requirements. According to the requirements, we are going to design. After the design, we are going to development, then testing, then deployment. After that, if you want to write some policies by using API manager, proxy, policies, all these things we can see, right? At the end of the course, you will be aware of, I mean, where we stand and according to the requirement, how we want to develop, what are the different layers present in that modern API-led connectivity approach, what is an API, all these things we'll see. My point is, don't get confused between the implementation, why we are doing the first implementation, where is the requirement. No, don't get confused over there. Okay, I'm using a Postman as a client. Okay, we are going to use a Postman as a client. If anyone not aware of Postman, please treat this as a browser. Someone is sending, client is sending some request. According to the request, we need to create some implementations. Basically, first what? First the design. After the design only we can write the implementations, right? But I'm doing in a reverse way, okay, which is helpful, which is a successful one. Hope everyone understood. Any doubts here? We talk about what is an orchestration, what is a muel application, and what is an architecture of Anypoint platform. For a glance, this is an Anypoint Studio. This is an Anypoint platform account. I'm logging with the username and password. I will tell you how to register and all. Just I'm giving a glance because I just shown you. This is an Anypoint platform. Under this Anypoint platform, I have a multiple application: Design Center, Exchange. Access management is purely related to admin. API manager, just now we talked, and runtime manager. I will talk about when I talk about a hybrid model, right? So this is an API. I mean Anypoint platform. Let me open one of the API. These are the previously created APIs within these 30 days. API is about what? How we are going to design the API by using RAML. Why it's taking to API manager. Okay, this is the version. Yeah, this is the ramel. Okay, I'm going to start from line 1. We are going to see all this, how to create this API. API is nothing but a specification. We are creating some specification. Who are using this API, they can write the implementations for the specifications. We can import this API onto any point studio. Automatically flows will get generated. See, I created one implementation project for some other batch. In that, I imported this API. Automatically, these flows all get generated. I did not created all this. Automatically, whenever I imported that file, that means that API onto this AnyPoint Studio project, automatically based on the combination, it got generated. Okay, I think I'm taking too much into this. That's fine. I just want to give a glance. Any questions here?
Sujit, in Mule runtime, can you explain that RF?
What is that?
RF. So there is a 4 types, right? In that arm remove hybrid.
Actually, RF is not part of our agenda. That is a part of architecture. First
Okay.
3, on-premise, hybrid, and Cloud Hub, we are going to explain. See, runtime fabric is nothing but, I just give a brief. Runtime fabric, see, if you want to, based on the load, if you want to maintain your, I mean, you want to host that mule runtime or your private cloud, then you need to go with the runtime fabric, right? Runtime fabric is nothing but your own private cloud. You can increase the capacity of a VMs, okay? Or else you can increase the number of VMs. That can be done on your private cloud, not on the MuleSoft hosting a cloud. That is the main difference.
Okay.
Orchestration means it is a logic, right?
Yeah, see, I have created a flow here.
Okay.
This logic is nothing but an orchestration logic.
Okay. Inside flows. Okay.
Inside a flow.
Okay. And one more thing, IAS and sorry, you told
IPaaS and
one,
IaaS.
what is the
Which is
meaning definition of IaaS?
Infrastructure as a service. That is infrastructure. Okay. IPaaS. That is by MuleSoft. Integration platform as a service. Okay. Please note down all these terminologies if you are feeling for the first time. Please work on that. That is how the learning process.
Hi, Sujit.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Please tell me your name.
orchestration can we treat as a clustering?
Cluster? No.
Means
Those are not about the runtimes, right? We are not doing the clustering there.
the concept wise, I am telling her.
Clustering
Hello?
means what? Yeah. I'm listening.
I think here is also group of the applications we have to sync, right? At the same time, in the clustering also is a group of the servers. It is also syncing. In the simple way,
No. Class.
That is.
You can understand in different ways.
Yeah. That's why it's not related to the same.
Yes.
Just I am asking at that.
It's up to you how you will relate it to that. I just told the concept.
No.
Sujit, you said about the banking application. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it the only hands-on session we are going to have it?
No. So that is the end of the project, how we are creating the API, entire banking application. See, all these projects, 11 second. I think you gone through my demo.
I did.
No, you need to go through. Definitely you need to go through. See, all these are the topics. For each and every topic, I have created a document to practice. Only yesterday's session and today's session is about a theoretical. From tomorrow, it's a purely hands-on. Every session is a hands-on. These are the multiple projects, predefined projects were given for each and every topic. Okay. Please go through my demo if you've not gone through. Anyone, if you have not gone through, please go through my demo. I already told how to work on this, and I just explained about the structure, entire process.
Hi Sujit, how many hours class will be this one?
I
How
stopping
many
the
hours?
recording.